and welcome to the first episode of the Good Exercise Friends podcast. The other three don't know this. The other three, I mean Simon, James, and Tangus, but we have commandeered the Good Keyboard Friends podcast, and we are
Like
making
Simon exercises. Yes, of course.
Oh my god.
He absolutely knows about this. Yes, Simon, the multi award winner, Olympic champion, Simon.
If I remember the thing, I'll say it. But it's funny that you say that because of something that I witnessed Simon doing when we met up. But yeah, hello.
Sex with the butt. That's what you saw him doing.
Yeah. My name is Hubert the Mad. I am joined today by two amazing people. People that you've seen on for their own episodes. People that somehow haven't gotten tired of me or the podcast, and they are more than happy to be on for multiple episodes. It's James, AKB James, and it's Dr. Gondo.
The man himself.
I don't know how the fuck I'll categorize this, if this will be part of the normal podcast episodes, or if we legit will start a new segment. In my mind, in the back of my mind, again, I haven't asked the other three about this, but it would be so fucking cool to start spin-off series of topics that us in the keyboard community share, like exercising for this specific episode, or I don't know, grilling, cooking, whatever, just because there's more to us than just keyboards. But yeah, I don't know if this will go into that, if we'll start a brand new series, but we'll see. But this episode will be focused mostly on exercise and nutrition for the most part. This is your chance to click away if you're here for keyboard content. Yep. We may talk about keyboard content, but speaking of keyboard content, I want to ask James, what have you been up to, man? ISO GR2 and other things. What's been going on in your life? Just anything in general.
I've been so busy. So yeah, ISO GR2 is going to be launching in just under a month. So starting to get some content out for that and try and convince people not to buy it. And then trying to work on the next new old design. I haven't done something kind of retro inspired in a long time now, and I've had the itch. So I've been working on that for a little while. Bought a house. So I'm moving house probably in a month or two. So I don't know what it's like in the US or in Brazil, but it's a shitload of paperwork over here. And it takes weeks, months to get through. So yeah, that's been taking up a lot of my time as well. But still, back on topic, being able to get to the gym around all that. So that's been my mornings most days. So the rest of it, I've been trying to stay awake while signing all this paperwork and designing new stuff, just absolutely fucking knackered.
When do you wake up, generally?
I get up at 6 a.m. every day. And yeah, go to bed at 10 p.m. I'm usually asleep by like 10:30. Yeah. Just I like to have my free time to myself in the morning before I start, rather than at the end of the day. I do get a little bit of downtime before bed, but working on primarily US time, I tend to go kind of into the later evening for me. Right now, getting up and the sun's not even up yet, so it's a little weird.
Well, that's awesome. This episode will go out ASAP. So you saying ISO OGR2 in a month or so will be relevant to the timeline for sure.
Don't buy it. Shit.
I love it. I love the little videos. I don't know if you've seen them, Gondo.
I have, yeah.
They're so good, man.
There's more to come on that. It's going to get really fucking stupid.
Oh man.
Fuck yeah, that's the best way, man.
Before I turn it over to Dr. Gondo, any updates on the Soleil from both of you, or anything you want to bring up quickly?
Oh shit, I wanted to say about that. So Soleil, it's happening. We confirmed that it's happening. Everything is fine. We had a better reception than expected. I was talking to Yuppas about that, because at the end of the day, it is a niche kind of project, you know? We tried to make it, how can I say this? I wouldn't say aesthetics wise, but we tried to make some sort of compromise between the more mainstream keyboard and the hobbyist guys, and we tried to appraise both. I understand that we're not trying to sell like Keychron and that kind of thing, absolutely, but we try to approximate people, and I think you talked about this with other people, right? Because I got a little bit pissed at the community for that, because people kind of didn't understand what's happening, and I'm like, that's fine. It is what it is. But it's happening. What's happening right now is we have an IC for the green color. So initially we're gonna have the black one with. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names of the woods. James is gonna remember that. So the black one is with the walnut.
Yep.
And the white one is with pine, not pine.
Maple.
Maple. Dude, both of them are fucking gorgeous, and I want to take this opportunity to say you're fucking awesome, James. They turned out great. By the way, we never gave James like we want something like this. No, we just handed him the job, and it turned out fucking awesome. That was honestly surprising. Because you are, yeah, like you're an awesome designer. I expected something nice, but I expected something nice. I didn't expect something fucking beautiful, So yeah, thank you very much. That was awesome.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh, I'm surprised," because I thought it was going to be shit.
No, because we aimed for the project. The huge thing about the project is, of course, the solar thing. So I didn't expect you to get something that was so beautiful. Maybe something that was okay. It was pretty. It was well done. Because you can't expect less from you. But that turned out fucking awesome. I was genuinely surprised. And so some people have expressed some interest in the green color, and then we have an IC for that. For the forest green, is that the name of the color?
Yeah. So we just added as kind of a separate IC form, or updated the IC form on GKFP, showing off the green color now, asking people what colors they prefer, just to kind of gauge the interest of it in general. Make sure it's not the vocal minority that are asking for it. And we'll just see if we'll have to price it up separately because we're adding more SKUs. It's going to be more cost to factor in, but see what people want, and then we can properly plan the group buy from there.
Yep.
Oh my gosh!
So that's what's going on for Soleil. Do you have a timeline? Do you remember that?
Well, we want to run the group buy this year. I don't know if we've got a concrete date pinned down yet, or anything that we've announced just yet. But it won't be too long before we run the group buy now. So if you are interested in it, I'd probably start saving your pennies. Yeah, it's really happy with how this one's turned out. It's a very interesting design journey for me as well, because I've done so many commissions now. Like I'm well into the triple digits, but with this one, I think this is the 8th or the 9th keyboard that came out. Like I designed a bunch of others, and for one reason or another, I wasn't happy with them, or I'd share them with Canon Keys first, and they weren't happy with them. And then the final result we see here is kind of more of a collaborative process than I've ever done in a keyboard design. So I don't like to kind of say and put my hands up, this is designed by James of AKB, because it isn't really. And like Gondo's the kind of the genesis of the whole project. But then I guess the case side of things, it was, a lot more collaborative than I done before or expected it to be. So it's really cool in that respect that I look at it, think it's really, really cool, but think that, I can actually play with others. Because usually I don't like getting input from others during the design process. I just kind of do it just for me. So really glad that it turned out this way, because it's, I think, got much more broad appeal the way it landed with some of the more focused original designs that I had. Oh. I might share those in future. Might kind of add to a more interesting story for the keyboard, but this is definitely by far the best version of all of them.
It's so cool. That's exactly how I see it. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I like all you guys, but Upas, James, Gondo come together for this amazing project, and it's fucking unique. If I can manage, I want to get one of the US variants, because this is going to be my piece de résistance, whatever that means. I think it means something good, but I think
it's something from the Lego movie, right?
Dude, that movie was good. I'm not gonna lie. I cried at it because I always cry at things.
Okay.
But yeah, Dr. Gondo, you have become a doctor now, a full-fledged doctor, MD, medical doctor. Please tell us how it has been in the past few weeks before you became a doctor, and now that you're a doctor. practicing doctor.
So not a medical doctor, by the way. Okay, just don't ask me for recipes and shit like that, like marijuana. No, I won't give you medicine marijuana if you want it. But yes, a doctor. This is Dr. Gondo, engineer and mathematician. So that's what I am. I do numbers, and that's what I do. Honestly, I've been focusing a lot on of course, the PhD thing, but um, it's a little bit. I mean, it's that period, that interim between when you finish PhD and your first job. It's generally the worst one at someone's career because you are absolutely left alone, because you lose your context, not your context, but you lose your objectives and your institutional link to the university because you're finished and there's nothing after PhD. Like PhD is high awesome, so you know you're done. Fuck you, go. Um, that's pretty much it. And at the same time, you try to take a job. The job market is absolutely fucked right now, and the academic one especially. The first job is insanely hard to get because the early academic jobs they're generally given to internal candidates. So I've been focusing a lot on getting a job, and that's harder than I would have imagined. To be honest, they ask everything of you. It's insane. So one application takes me 3-4 hours sometimes, of how many questions they are, and you have to prove everything. So it doesn't suffice for you to say, "Hey, I published this paper at this conference." You have to prove it. So either you have a certificate that went there, or you have a preprint of the paper. So you have to have all of the documentation submitted, and that's you know that's difficult. Also, rejection. Dealing with so many rejections is difficult. It's difficult, you know. Um, but it is what it is, I guess. So yeah, I've been working towards that lately. But keyboard wise, I've been dealing with two things. So I'm finishing my implementation of Hall effect keyboards and the wireless EC stuff. So I'm doing the Praxis for AE boards, right? So we have I took it away. It's right there, but it's the Praxis is it's a plastic Alice, and we're doing a wireless EC board of that using their switches. After that, I'm gonna finish after a fucking eternity the Faraday 60. So so the wireless version of the HHKB. That's what I intend to do, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm also doing lots of other stuff that I can talk about now, but new PCBs, lots of new PCBs. So yeah,
I'm going to link everything both these gentlemen have. ISO 2, Faraday 60, yeah, everything. That's amazing. Hopefully we have Eric on from AE boards in the near future, and then we can have you on again, Gondo, at the same time.
that
That's
would
him,
be
right?
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, and it sounds like both of you have had to deal with a lot of paperwork and shit like that. But I'm glad both of you are doing very well. It seems like a lot of amazing things happening in keyboard specifically for both of you, but also real life, life outside keyboard. So that's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, life is good, man. Can't complain.
We're here, right? We're still fighting the good fight. We're still alive. There's some
Yep.
shitty things that happens, but
Hey, shitty things happen, man. It is what it is.
I want to get into the origin story in terms of exercising or getting into fitness from the both of you. I'll start first so I can get mine out of the way to give you two some time to think if you need some time to think. But and please don't feel like you have to avoid repeating yourself because I could listen to both your stories every single day for the rest of my life. It's fucking awesome. I think it's also cool before I explain my side how we have a US perspective, a Brazilian perspective, and a UK perspective because things in the US sometimes don't happen in the UK, or like things that we see fitness wise or the accessibility of equipment or foods is not the same between the three of us, so it's going to be cool to talk about that. But for me, real quick, I was a very fat boy growing up because in Indonesia, it's one of those countries where if you have money, you want to fatten up those children. Like you want to have your kids be very well off. nobody wants a skinny child, so it's kind of like a sign of, doing well if your kids are fat and things like that. So I was very fortunate growing up. When I moved to the US, it's a very I think it's a very common thing in Brazil and the UK as well, but you get your kids doing activities or doing something social, whether it be football or basketball, some kind of sports or extracurricular thing. I always loved playing football, like football, not American football. I was very shit at it, but I loved playing it. I never actually exercised as a kid. It was just running around, um, playing with friends. I'm sure the two of you were similar, but it wasn't until middle school, which is sixth grade, 12 years old, I think, in the US, where we had to run the mile for the first time for school because we have a school class called physical education. And I was the last one. I ran a 20-minute mile. That's very bad, by the way. What's a mile in kilometers? Like
1.6.
1 point. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine imagine running like a half a kilometer for 20 minutes or something like that. It's fucking bad. So that got me on the journey of exercising. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had friends that went to the gym after school, whether it be part of their football lifting program or just because they want to work out in general. So it was very social. It wasn't just like let's lift just to lift. It was, let's hang out after school. Let's go to the gym. There is a YMCA, which is a gym for the community, basically a low cost gym that had an agreement with our school. So all the school children could work out at this gym for free, and it was right beside the school. So that was fucking awesome. Yeah. I made friends through exercising, and that just continued throughout my whole school experience, through middle school, through high school. I did play sports, so football, basketball, baseball. I ran track and field, but the favorite thing that I enjoyed doing was the exercise, the lifting portion of it, because I was kind of shit at everything else. But I loved the exercising. I love lifting weights, and my friends did too. And that's kind of how I got started. I eventually went to college, and I got a degree in exercise science, kinesiology.
Nice.
It was very fun. It was something that I'm sure people will be super excited and interested in doing, that are exercise focused, because you learn about exercise physiology, the intricacies of that. I did not like that. It's something I'm sure that Gondo would have liked because he's very intellectual. He's very thoughtful. He thinks about the different processes in the body and things like that. I just wanted to fucking lift, and but I got that, and professionally, I was able to train little kids, grade school children, middle school. I was a intern for a high school strength and conditioning program. I also was able to land a job at a college for their football team strength and conditioning program. So it's very awesome. And a part of our curriculum for exercise science was we had to also train the general population. So
Okay.
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, your parents or your grandparents. So I had the opportunity of training athletes, kids, and the general population, and it just broadened my horizons, and it was really fun altogether.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, man. I'm not doing it now because I have to take another job to make a lot of money. But eventually, when I've finished accumulating as much money as I think is possible or is needed, I'm gonna go back into a similar field. But that's just kind of that's my background, kind of. I've done Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, a little bit of bodybuilding, some strongman. The thing I'm doing right now is I'm a huge boxer. I love boxing. But I've had a lot of injuries throughout the years, so I'm trying to mix boxing and weightlifting together, and losing weight, of course. But that's my fitness regime and goal currently, to mix those two together and to eventually start losing weight again. But I want to hear from both of you because I am fucking tired of talking. So who wants to go first about their background and kind of, what got them into exercise, how they grew up with exercise and things like that?
If we go back as far as school, I was a lot more active back then. I didn't really play much in the way of traditional sports, but came to like track and field in like the PE classes. I was leagues ahead of basically everybody because I got my growth spurts before everyone else. I was really fast. I was basically primarily a sprinter back then, so it's like athletics. I did 100 meters in about 12 and a half seconds.
Nice.
Set a school record. I was 14 at the time. All the other things, like I didn't really like particularly excel at, but compared to all of the other kids, like javelin, shot put, and long jump, and all that kind of thing, I was just way bigger. And I've been 5'10" since I was 13, so I had a bit of a jump start on some of the other kids. But the thing I was most interested in was like skating and BMX. So I was active through that, and all the kind of hijinks you get up to in between, a lot of trespassing and that kind of thing, climbing buildings and stuff. So yeah, I was active all through school, but then when I finished school, shortly afterwards, I moved away back in with my dad. So I didn't know anybody around there. I didn't keep up with the BMX much longer, and I just kind of got more sedentary over time. Weight wasn't really much of a problem, but it fluctuated a little bit. So within relatively healthy margins for many years. But then it got to probably around the time really that I got into keyboards, where I still had a day job and I was being overworked in my day job. But then I come home and then I would use all of my spare time learning how to design keyboards and doing that. So I wouldn't really have any like downtime, so to speak. And with that, I was just eating the most convenient food I could find. And gradually, slowly over time, I would gain weight. And I got up to, I think it was like, nearly 250 pounds. So not like huge, but it was definitely for me like the heaviest I've ever been. And then like I got into on the, like my episode, the podcast, like the health issues that arose from there. I find out about the clots and the high blood pressure and all that kind of thing. The primary goal since then was to try and turn that around as quickly as possible because I wanted to, live longer. So that's when I kind of started to really look into fitness in general. And I'd been to like the gym passively for like a month or two before quitting in the past. I'd never taken it too seriously. I never really got into the right mindset for it. Didn't really have any goals or anything. It was just because it was the thing to do. But this time I had a specific goal of cutting a lot of weight. I can't remember how much weight to lost, maybe 50 pounds or so, just from walking about 3 miles a day. There's a nice park nearby, so I just do one leap of the park and go back to my apartment again. Doing that every morning before I started work was all it took, really. I'd restrict my calories and I'd stop eating things that was all heavy in sodium and that kind of thing. But once I got down to a certain weight that I was happy with, that's when I signed up at the local gym. Well, there's a few local gyms, but there's one that's like a full-on leisure centre, a swimming pool and stuff. They've got the broadest range. I didn't want to be too intimidated by like roided up monsters or something, slamming stuff in, grunting. I was just like, didn't know what I was doing. And I would kind of meander through that a little bit for a month or two. Like you go online and you look at look at various influencers on YouTube and wherever else, and they're all saying different things. It's very dogmatic, like this is the way to do it. This doesn't work. This does work. And there's a lot of contradictions between one source and the next. So I just thought, I'm going to speak to a personal trainer and then see what this one source recommends that I do based on my needs. And then from there he kind of spelled it out for me what I needed to do from this point. He said, step one is getting to the gym. That's one of the hardest parts for most people. The second bit is make it habitual. And he said it might take you a few months to get to that point where you wake up in the morning and say if it's a rest day, you might feel strange for not going to the gym. That's where I want you to get first. So you set out a plan for me. We do certain lifts and that kind of thing. And I do cardio on my off days, or some of my off days when I could be bothered. But he really kind of set me on a path from there. And it wasn't too intense or anything like that. But the main thing was that we just do things safely, learn the foundations, the basics, do the movements properly. And then when you're, I develop my core strength a little more. And when we know that my form is consistently good, then we can start loading the weights a bit more and see how hard I can push myself in terms of weight rather than reps and volume, and really kind of build things up as safely as possible. I still see him once a week around my usual routine anyway. He's been like a really good foundation for me to build on. I had a bit of a setback about a year ago where I really, really fucked my back. I was going heavy on squats. So that at the time I was maxing out around 130 kilos. And at this point I was going for 2 reps. The first one, I get to the bottom and something just feels like a bit wrong in my back. Like I looked to the side in the mirror and like it seemed like my form was great. So I was like, I'm just going to drop this one, give it a couple of minutes, do some stretching, just until it feels all okay again. I'll give it another go. And then the second time when I get to the bottom of the squat, everything just collapses. And it turned out that I can't remember what they're called. I think it's erectus spinae muscles, are the vertical ones that support your spine.
Yeah.
They're not like out of alignment, but one's a lot more developed than the other. So it gets to those stages where like your body's really struggling and it compensates however it can to help you get through the lift. And that's like the real test of your form for that point. It seemed like those muscles, like one would do most of the work until it failed, and the other one would try and do it, and then it just all collapses from there like a house of cards.
Oh, no.
So I've been struggling with that ever since. Like I'm seeing physio, and I don't do back squats anymore. I don't do deadlifts. I use a hack squat instead, only on good days, and I still have to use a belt with that. Things like leg press are fine, and other things like that, but like hamstring specific exercises are an issue these days. But yeah, like generally speaking, the journey's been good, but also quite recent for me. Fitness has never really been a focus until like 2 years ago. So I'm still working out what my end goal is. I want to live longer. I want to be healthier. I want to be around for my girlfriend for as long as possible. But yeah, I'm happy with how things are going at the moment, though. Other than the fact that I'm on a cut and it's driving me insane. Not having energy all the time. I would like to get my back fixed somehow. Like I'm doing so many stretches and rehabbing and stuff like that, but it just doesn't seem to be improving. What it takes is for me to just like turn over in bed one day a particular way, and then it's just tweaked again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going good though. I'm feeling better. I'm lightest I've been since like I was in my early 20s, I think. Yeah, I think once this cut's done, I'm just gonna go on the bulk of a lifetime, I think. A bulk for the ages. And I don't really know if it's like a specifically bodybuilding or something that I want to do. I don't want to be like huge or anything like that. I just want to look my best and feel my best. And I'd like to just kind of maintain this as kind of an interest and a hobby for as long as I can, because I want to stick at it rather than just be a phase in my life that I move on from onto the next thing.
Do you you work out solo for the most part?
Yeah. Other than when I'm with my PT once a week.
Yeah.
So I do an hour a week with him, but other than that, it's all on my own. Yeah. I know I've grown to know some people at the gym, like regulars and stuff, but I generally just put my headphones on and just try and get in the zone, and everyone else is kind of invisible from that point when I'm lifting usually.
Before I get to Gondo, I just want to say that that's fucking awesome, man. In 2 years, to see that drastic of a difference and a change in your body, and not only that, but you love it, right? I don't want to say addicted. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you addicted to it? Like,
I think so.
Process? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I am at that point very much so when I know that I need a rest day, and I'm having the rest day, and I feel guilty for not going.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the moment, I'm going in on the off days anyway, just to do some cardio. I like cardio, but otherwise, it just feels like I should be doing something, and I feel that's a better feeling than I can't be asked to go and they're not going to. I'm glad that I get there every day when I should be. I
can't wait to visit you. And I can't wait to visit Gondo as well. I wanna work out with you guys. I wanna hang out with you guys. I can't wait until AKB James becomes the buffest and most jacked keyboard designer, rivaling Gondo. And speaking of Gondo,
well, if I'm to be honest, one of the things that people think about me is that I'm a bodybuilder. No, I'm not. I'm a powerlifter. That's different, right? I never trained for size. That was never a thing. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those guys that wants fuck all with everyone. I'm a very closed person. I would like to think that I'm empathetic, but I like my space. And that's also mentally, not only physically, but also like the mental space. So I was never an exercise person. My family isn't. Both my parents, they were always very chill. My dad has a dad bod. He has a huge belly. Um, but um, but my mom, she's very skinny. She's healthy, but she was never into huge exercise. As a kid, that was never a thing. They did try though. They did try putting me into like those things that you put kids to do after school. So I've tried soccer, because soccer is very popular here. I've tried volleyball. I've tried table tennis. I've tried judo. But none of those clicked, to be honest. The only thing that I quite liked was handball. So I did play handball for quite a while. But then again, I don't like people, you know. Uh, so fuck that. But that was never my thing. I was always a very, more kind of chill guy. So as a kid, my thing was always I loved music. So I'm a classically trained pianist from like the age of 4 or something. Yeah. So my mom, she put me in one of those piano things, and that just clicked. So that's been a part of my life ever since. Music is a huge thing for me, like huge. I've always loved reading, So I was more of that kind of person. My story with kind of fitness, but then again, it's not fitness. I'm not looking to be fit. It's like James. So James, it's not actually fitness if you think about it. I'm not trying to look a certain way. I'm just doing it because I feel good doing it. But the thing is, during the pandemic, there were lots of things that happened in my life. I went to preclinical depression. And I've gotten huge, like insanely huge, like big, to some point where, so I use an office chair. So this chair here, I couldn't fit in this chair, and this is a damn large chair, so that kind of thing. And at one point, my mom was like, "Hey, so you need to do something," because I was very anxious. That was when the newspaper thing came along. The newspaper thing came at like I was so, because depression, it can take many forms. We see depressed people as this kind of sad person that doesn't want to talk, but that's not quite it. In my diagnosed depression, I was, making jokes. I was cracking jokes. I was, doing things, but I was very demotivated for things. I couldn't sleep. So I started streaming PCBs and doing things because it just felt the need to talk to someone. So I would just stream at like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something like that. And I was so into it and so nervous, not nervous, but that pissed internal hatred kind of thing. And the newspaper thing came from that. I just needed to smash something, and the newspaper thing came as a comedic relief, sort of thing. So my mom was like, "Hey, you need to do something, about that." And she was like, "Well, I think the best thing for you to do is a bike, because if you start like jogging or running, that's obviously gonna crack your joints, and that's gonna fuck you up. So since you're huge, get a." She bought me a bike, and I started biking, and that was awesome. But I spent like 1 year biking, and I lost like an insane amount of weight. But the problem with biking is that it's very unsafe here, because you have to bike on the lane, like on the car lane. So at some point, I was knocked off the lane by a car. It was, yeah, it was. I wouldn't say run over, but I was knocked off by a car. I got huge. I was like flayed alive, So I
Oh
had
my god.
I had a lot of skin removed from my leg and that kind of thing. So I looked like a fucking mummy, because the thing is, I was walking down the lane, and then I think he was drunk. I didn't have time to check it. But he knocked me off, and I fell into the pavement. So it just removed a lot of my skin from this side, but the leg was the worst. And then so I looked like a fucking mummy. So what you call those things that you put over the
Bandage?
wounds? Bandages. Yeah. So I had like lots of bandages all over my body because they were like all over.
Yeah.
So I had them all over my body. So I had to go like daily to the hospital because then again, I live alone. I live with myself. So I had to go daily to the hospital so they could change the bandages and that kind of thing. So I was like, I'm done with this. So the next best thing was just gym. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym, and I just found myself in it. I liked it quite well, and when I first went to the gym, I just did because it's one of those big franchise gyms, so they give you like this training schedule that's very light for people that come the first time.
Yeah.
But then I progressed so fast because by then I already had a nutrition expert with me. I hired someone to help me eat healthy and that kind of thing. Oh, also, of course, I had a therapist. And it just got way up there. But the huge like turnover was when I was starting having like this a little bit of a joint pain because of course these huge franchise gyms they really don't supervise you, so you're bound to do some exercises the wrong way. So I was doing like back squats and deadlifts and that kind of thing, and things started to hurt. So I went to physio, and the physio was also a powerlifting coach.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
And then I just found myself in that, and then it didn't stop from there. And that's been 2.5 years now. Something like
Wow.
that. Yeah,
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
it
Yeah,
was.
both of you have had such impactful and dramatic change in just two-ish years. That's amazing.
I wouldn't say that's impactful. For me, the thing is that it just helped me so much. People really do underestimate how well exercise makes you feel, and the how well the good that it makes you on the long run. I'm a much more calm person after that. There are lots of neural brain things that happen during exercise and after it. So when you start getting, consistent with it, you do become I did become a better person, calmer, a more rounded person in that sense, less anxious. So it really helped. So it started getting to a point where I wouldn't say that I'm addicted in the sense that James said. So when I have my rest days, I don't feel bad for not going to the gym. I have the rest days and that kind of thing. But if I take like one rest day, that's fine. 2 rest days, I start getting how can I say this? Not sleeping quite well. I start getting a little bit irritable, and such and such. So it really does make something to your head in that sense.
It's the endorphins, isn't it? It seems to, for me, it's been a huge benefit to like my mental health as well as physical health. It's helped my sleep. It helps like mental clarity, my mood. Like I would have like
Absolutely.
bouts of depression here and there, and I haven't honestly in the last 2 years hardly anything. And when it gets to like really
Yeah.
stressful moments, I used to just really peak immediately. I'd completely lose it and wouldn't be able to even think about anything. But now I can just handle situations so much better because it seems like I'm just mentally equipped to do it. And I think that just comes from being in a healthier place in general. It could be, diet and all kinds of other things. But I think in general, just even in the short term, just like doing something like lifting, of the endorphins that your brain kind of releases from that. Makes a huge difference how you feel.
This might be a super stupid question. Maybe the answer is always yes, but you two didn't go into exercising with a thought of this might impact my mental or emotional health for the better, or did you both do that? Was it just an after? It was just a byproduct, basically, or you were like, "Oh, this will help me with my,
For
my
me, it was
stress."
a byproduct. So my
Okay.
I was kind of laser focused on just turning my situation around as soon as I could. But it was once I really started looking into. Well, I guess it was probably around the time that I was starting the gym, was when I was looking into things a bit more, and then you see kind of people's first-hand accounts of how it's changed our lives and that kind of thing. It was all just to kind of psych myself up to thinking, okay, this is the best thing I could be doing right now. Yeah, that's when I kind of realized, oh, this could maybe help in so many ways. I didn't realize how significantly it would help me. But yeah, I did kind of have maybe one eye on that at the beginning without any real kind of basis or knowledge behind it. It's more of a suspicion or a hope.
When I get into these kind of argument, like it's difficult to describe how like the mental impacts of the gym in my life. Um, the things that James said, they're true. You do become a little bit better mentally equipped to deal with the everyday frustrations. And I lead a very frustrating life. People don't know about this in university generally, but the problem with university, and that's one of the things that take so many people away from it, is the fact that you're evaluated time and again. So, for instance, when I submit a paper, I have to submit it to reviewers, right? And the reviewers are going to shit all over my work. They're going to say what's wrong with it and what they think should be done with it and that kind of thing. And that's hard to hear, man. And that really, after you spend so much time developing something, so people generally don't understand that the natural way that it goes with research. So I've finished my PhD. So now what I have to do is I have to publish the results. So I have to write papers about it, right? And the papers are what we call peer-reviewed. And the peers, the reviewers, they are there so as to kind of gauge whether the work that you've done is worthy of being published, if it's new, if it's a significant achievement over what exists and that kind of thing. But it's never good to hear shit about your work, man. It always hits you in a weird way, especially when there's so much into it. Whenever I feel one of those frustrations, recently I've been through a breakup. Whenever you're especially frustrated with I'm especially frustrated with one thing, I just do like one of the three basic trainings. So it's either a bench, a deadlift, or a back squat, and I just fuck myself over it. I just do the strength training over it. I just tire myself so much. I get home, I eat, and I sleep. That's it. One of the other things that people really don't get about exercise is the sleep thing. So James said about the sleeping, man, I sometimes I go to sleep at like 8 p.m. and I wake up at 10. I sleep so freaking well. I generally wake up at 6:30, especially because classes start at 8. And I like to start my day by looking at what I have to do, planning my day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like to take a little bit of time to plan the day. The sleep part it's fundamental. I just can't not sleep anymore. That's not a thing that happens. I can't sleep less than 6 hours a day, for instance. If I sleep less than 6 hours a day, it's gonna be a shit day for me. Absolutely. Whenever people tell me that they feel bad, that they feel like their life is not fulfilling. Those things about life, life is frustrating for everyone. If you want to achieve something, you have to get yourself out there, and it's hard. I always tell them, do something. That there's a sport out there for everyone. There's, it doesn't have to be gym. For some reason, the bodybuilding thing is big now. It's gotten to the mainstream, right? So people generally assume that we're talking about gym, but no. There are literally hundreds of sports that you can do, and there's got to be something for you. My dad recently said, hey, so listen, I have to do something because the doctor told me to do something, but I just don't find the gym fun. I just don't find it okay. I like to just find something, so there's something out there for everyone, honestly. And I always recommend that people do that because it's truly it was life-changing for me. So yeah, that's for me, the best benefits, they're mental. They're not even physical. They're mental. The best physical benefit for me was my back. So James said that he has problems with his back and that kind of thing. I don't have like particular joint or back problems. What I do have though is the fact that I sit down 14 hours a day sometimes between university and keyboards, because keyboards are a job basically for me, right? You've got to have good back. Otherwise, you're gonna fuck it up. So no back pain for me, and that's fucking awesome. That's honestly fucking awesome.
Jealous.
Did you have back pain like in the past?
Yes, of course it did. When you're huge, the human body was not made to carry 160 kilograms. That's not a thing that happens. So I used to have problems all time. So back pain, knee pain. I couldn't go through a flight of stairs without taking a break in the middle. That was not a thing. So today it's much better. Honestly, the quality of life that it gets you it's insanely positive.
That's awesome, though. I feel the same thing that you feel, and obviously James feels. I make fun of pickleball or paddle. It's just a joke. I was just trolling. If it gets you out of the house, if it increases your heart rate, it gets you going. Who gives a fuck? My
Yeah.
mom and dad, they made it as part of their morning routine because they also were similar. Oh, I have to get more healthy. So they drive to a local library here, and the library has a big park, and they walk every morning around the library lake, and it's their thing. Um, Sometimes it's something social. For me, it's very social. Uh, until recently, I used to always have a lifting group or a partner. Um, but sometimes it's social. Sometimes it's literally just walking your dog. Anything that gets you up and going. It helps your health, obviously, but the mental clarity, the benefits that aren't just specifically body related. It's just so good. It's awesome. You have to take care. You have to take care of your body, and it takes care of you. I don't want to get super philosophical or anything, but uh, it's all connected, right? Physical health, mental health, emotional health. If you're very at peace with one thing, or if everything's balanced, you're typically doing well. Exceptions aside. But I have a sort of interesting question for both of you before I bring up consistency. Do you guys think that those that are heavier and then they start exercising, specifically when it comes to weightlifting, do you guys think that they're stronger? Because a lot of people, and I've experienced this too. I used to be 130 kilos. When I start, exercising, and I saw my friends that are also heavy start exercising, all those years of having all that weight on their body, they're super strong. Like compared, this might sound super fucking simple compared to like someone that's super skinny, but heavier people seem like they're naturally stronger when they start exercising. Like I'm always surprised that, oh, holy shit. My friend's like 6'1", 280 pounds. It doesn't sound super overweight or anything, but he was deadlifting 4 plates when he first started deadlifting. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It took me like 3-4 years to get to that. It's crazy. It's always been my hypothesis that those that are heavier are naturally stronger once they start weightlifting and exercising and things like that. Do you two feel the same? Like
I think
yourself
it
personally?
tracks. Yeah, I mean, I think this is why weight classes are a thing in many
Yeah.
competitive like weightlifting things. I don't think it would help in every respect. I think maybe like legs and core in particular,
Yeah.
maybe back related things, it might really help you more because I found this when I went to the gym previously, so a few years ago. I was pretty overweight then, but the things that I would really struggle with are maybe kind of like upper body isolation kind of things, like even doing like just one plate on a machine, just anything, it would feel like a struggle. But then you put me on a leg press, and I could almost stack the whole thing straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there'd be like natural advantages to that, but probably just not across the board. Um, Especially when you get to like certain lifts when you really have to move in particular ways, and you might not have good mobility in that respect yet. Yeah, I think there's definitely correlation there. It'd be like a good basis to get started. This way you get this way you get weight classes. I think it's probably for that reason.
I think it's more the other way around, right? So I know a lot of couch potatoes that are like insanely skinny, and on the outside they look kind of good. But I think it's more on the body type thing. So there are a lot of body types, and people that are generally larger, they tend to gather fat more easily, which is my case. I can't eat a little bit less away from my diet. I put on a pound or two. It's really easy for me. the good side being that it's also easy for me to put on muscle, right? But I think that this goes in line with what James said about weight classes. There are people that are naturally big, large, and tend to put on more muscle and more strength. Whereas there are people that are more resistant and that kind of thing. So I think it's a little bit on the other way around. I think that you see people being large because they have that kind of body type. I think that that's more about that.
How tall are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 183, which is 6'1", I think, in freedom
Wow.
units.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel so short, James. No. Something that Gondo brought up that I want to bring up to both of you is consistency. How did you guys get consistent at your programs starting out compared to now? What's changed, if anything? I can say for me, to give you some time. Again, it's the social thing, and it's easy to be consistent when you're with a bunch of friends. I don't know. You could play hopscotch, or you could draw I don't know, pictures with crayons. Anything you do with friends is usually more fun, and you're always down to hang out with friends, right? So it's been very easy for me when it comes to consistency and exercise, because your gym partner always keeps you in check. I can't not wake up at 6 a.m. because I know my gym partner's waiting for me and things like that. And it's always fun to work out together. So I really had to focus and work on being consistent when I transitioned to being out of college, not having the workout partners because they're across the US and things like that. So that's been a struggle for me. So in the beginning of my life, it's super easy to be consistent, part of sports, after school, hang out with your friends, work out. So I've really struggled with consistency when I'm by myself. Thankfully, I was able to have a little home gym in my basement. I think that's where I recorded the original AKB James episode. I was in my basement because my AC was broken upstairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a struggle for me. I've had to kind of reevaluate my motivations and things like that, and try and work out, not because I'm hanging out with friends, but just for myself. So it's been tough. I've been able to be a little more consistent, but it was dramatically different from when I started working out, and the consistency aspect of it. But what about you guys, and tips and tricks that you two have to stay consistent as well?
I think my view on it's maybe quite specific to my circumstances, because I lost a lot of weight and I've turned my health around in some respects, but my hypertension is still there. It's probably going to be there for the rest of my life. So the moment I stop being consistent is effectively like, if I give up, I give up. So I've got to keep this up for myself, really. What helped like consistency in the beginning was, that was like a primary motivator, but to get me to really focus on it properly. But like, focus for me is somebody like a card carrying ADHD person. It was very difficult, but I seem to jump from one thing to another. I really hyperfixate on something. So like, prior to this was just overworking, and then prior to that I was collecting films and stuff. So I just decided to kind of change my focus onto that, to the point where it became habitual. And then now it's just as part of my day as having a shower or doing the dishes or something. I hope I can keep it up that way, because there's quite a bit at stake, I guess. You might even notice, like, in my complexion, I can go really red in an instant, and then it can flush out, and it's like that all the time. Because even though I'm on like medication to help, my blood pressure can jump to like 160/30 or something just by laughing, and then shoot back down again. So I get head rush just from that.
Yeah.
So this is a thing that I'm just having to kind of adjust a lot of my life around, just the circumstance of it, really. So I can maybe apply, if it came to like providing advice to somebody else on like how they can stay consistent, is primarily the habitual things. I mean, if you can't make it happen, then you can grind through on sheer willpower alone. But if you have like a specific goal, that would help. For me, I don't really have a goal at the moment, other than just kind of be my best self, and I'll just continually build on that. And I owe it to myself. I finally found that kind of concept of self-love and that kind of thing after like 30-something years of not giving a shit about myself. But yeah, it's primarily just to stay alive, really. Just to not make it too dark or anything like that.
Honestly, for me, it's the same thing. It's gotten to a point that it's just became a part of my day, like eating, sleeping, taking a shower. I have become so like used. Like once you start being really like consistent about it, you start getting some feelings about it. Like there's this thing in powerlifting called a deload, right? So for people that kind of don't understand, powerlifters, they don't train for strength all year. Because if you keep doing that, your max is all year, you're gonna fuck up your entire nervous system and your joints, right? So there's some cycle of training that goes into that. And every, say, 3 or 4 months, you slow down. So my cycles are 3 to 4 months. I have some set goals as to how much I want to lift in the three exercises, and then when I hit the goals, I just have a couple weeks of deloading, which I just do like half the loads. I do different exercises. Generally, I leave the free weights and I just do a little bit more of machines, right? But that kind of thing, you just get a feel for that, right? So rest days, for instance, there are some days where I go, hey, I need to rest today because I feel especially tired, or I still haven't fully recovered yet. That kind of thing, right? So you start getting those kinds of feelings about it. Same thing with diet, same thing with food. So for me, it's just become that natural. I honestly, it's just effortless. Going to the gym and doing my thing. Um, the gym for me is a little bit more than that, though. So when it comes down to my day, the gym is the divider between my day job and keyboards. So the way that
Oh,
it goes is I do research and PhD and that kind of thing up until like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m., something like that. And then I have my pre-meal, my pre-train meal, right? During that pre-train meal, then I leave stuff alone and then I start thinking about what I'm going to do next. Okay, so today I have to work on this project and I have to deliver, or I have to send that email. I start, looking at the Discord messages and see what are the demands that people have or whatever it is that I need to deliver. And then I have some coffee with that, uh, you know, and then I go gym. And then when I come back home, it's keyboards, or whatever it is that I need to do.
oh.
So the gym is also that kind of day, that time of the day that I have to think about what I need to do, what I need to deliver, and so it's just become that effortless. I just go, and sometimes I go just because. It's happened more than once that I was specifically pissed at someone. Say you've had an argument with your girlfriend or something like that, and I go like, hey, listen, I need some time, and then I go to the gym, right? I listen to some music or listen to some podcasts or something like that, and I just do the exercises. I'm in my own zone there. Um, it's always been my opinion that not nothing worked for me. No sport worked for me, right? I tried lots of things, but the matter of fact is that you're not going to be consistent in something that you dislike. So if you dislike gym, if it's not for you, then you're not going to be consistent in it. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. And but then again, the good thing about that is that you can choose anything from fucking cricket to athletics. There's something in that in between that's there for you. That you're probably going to have access to and that kind of thing. So getting consistent for me is just a matter of finding something that you like. That can also mean friends, right? So friends are a huge motivator, of course. So having people there, and it's like you said, sometimes they're not feeling it, but you have, hey, I've told them that I'm going to be there, or they expect me there. So you make an effort to be there, not because you want or not to be there, but because you've made a compromise with other people to be there. So that's also a good thing to have. Particularly not something that I like. The gym in general is a very solitary activity, right? You need to do it alone, and I can't do it with someone. I need not. I need to not be talking. I need to not be doing anything else beside that, or else I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. And in powerlifting, not concentrating means probably injuries. It means probably you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
because you're manipulating such huge loads, such huge weights. So yeah, I need to stay focused on that.
So we won't see you with the tripod and the phone, recording when you're on the stair machine or something, or like trying to live stream your gym workout or anything. It's very solitary for you. It's a
No,
me thing.
I don't even like to talk to people.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I've had arguments with not one girlfriend, but actually more than one, where I'm like, hey, I don't like to go to the gym with you. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
you know, because there's that girlfriend thing and the boyfriend girlfriend. We like to go to the gym, and I'm like, okay, we are going together, but I don't like to train together. It's not the girlfriend. I don't like to train together with anyone because
Yeah.
I get so dislocated from that zone.
Yep.
Not even my dad, So my dad went with me at one time, and he was doing his thing, I was doing mine, and that was it. It happened once that I had we have some friends that they're like, hey, so I would like to do this squat training, and I need someone to spot for me. That's one thing. And there are a couple friends that I like to train with, but even then, it's a very focused thing. So we have the headphones on. We help each other the squatting. So hey, I would like to squat the one RM today, and you have a spotter. That's awesome, but I'm not gonna talk to you. Fuck you. No, we're just gonna train.
I agree with that. That makes sense. Even the West Side people, I'm wearing a Dave Tate Table Talk shirt. Dave Tate used to be one of the guys from West Side Barbell, with Louis Simmons and the crew. They work out together, but they're super fucking focused. It's not like, and this is not old man yelling at cloud. I know this doesn't happen in every single gym, but it's not like what you see online where you do a set and then you're talking to your friend or you're on your phone like that. If you're working out with someone, at least in my opinion, you do have to be focused because you got your own shit to do. He's got their own shit to do. The spotting is what I think is most valuable when working out together for sure. Because have you two ever experienced um and sometimes it happens just because you're not always going to be with people that or at a gym that people understand how to spot. But have you ever had someone spot you in a very weird way, or like grab the bar, you say, hey, I'm gonna do like 3, and then they grab it at 2 because it seems like you're struggling even though you're gonna get 3, things like that? Have you ever had stories like that where you got like weird spots? Because I've gotten my fair share. It's kind of funny.
I've had one.
Yeah.
It wasn't even asked for either.
What do you mean it wasn't asked for?
So I was doing dumbbell bench.
Yeah.
And so I was going for low rep, high weight sets.
Yeah.
So I was doing like 4 or 5 reps a set. And I got to the point, I think it was like the 38 kilo dumbbells. And I was on the last rep. And there's this guy, like, I don't really know him. I say hi and bye to him when I see him because he's one of those guys who just chats to everybody.
Yeah.
But you could see that I was really like struggling where I was kind of shaking, but I was slowly getting it up there. And he just comes out of nowhere and then just kind of helps my elbows up. But the bit that really kind of put me off the most was his face was right in mine. So I'm laying on my back and he's come over. His face is really close. I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm glad he helped me at that point, because if he didn't, I would have completely collapsed, because it's like, what the fuck are you doing up in my face? That was really, really distracting. I'm glad it didn't piss me off or anything like that. But it was, if it was anybody else, it was a complete stranger, then I'd like, what the fuck are you doing? But no, I think that's kind of the only kind of strange spot situation I've had so far.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I bet spotter will fuck the training up.
Have you I've had this most of the times. It's on bench, but sometimes when you have a bench and there's the spotter, there's places for them to put their feet, and it's behind you. So like I'm lying down and then they have their feet here. And in some benches, or depending on how tall they are or what they wear, they're literally teabagging you as they are spotting you. Have you had that happen, Gondo? Or am I just going to the wrong gyms?
Was it a gym?
Yeah, you're probably going to to weird gyms, man. Something's going on. I've never had that. To be honest, I don't. I don't like to have spotters.
Yeah.
Because if I need a spotter, that means that I'm not doing the exercise correctly at some point. What I do like to have is people that people that are experienced. They know how to spot, and then I can go, okay, so today I can try a different weight, or today I can try more reps, or I can know that if I fail my rep, they're gonna have my back. That kind of thing. For the bench, that's nice, but that's not something that happens. I don't generally do that. But was it one time? I think it was one time where I think it was a back squat. I don't remember if it wasn't the Smith machine. I think it was the free back squat. And then I asked this, he wasn't a friend. He wasn't the same friend group, but it was like, hey, this is like 12 series. Can you help me, and that kind of thing? And he was like, sure. And then he helped me by putting like his hands on on the sides of my waist.
Yeah.
And like pressing it up. And that hurt like fuck, because he really pressed it down. I'm like, you do understand I'm not your fucking bride, I'm not a cheerleader, because it looked like he was supporting a cheerleader, when they do this. They throw people around. That's not how it happens, Then I taught him how to do the squat, spotting, and he was like, that looks gay. And I'm like, it's
And what you're doing wasn't gay?
That was like Dirty Dancing or something.
And I'm like, okay, that's gay, fine. Just I needed to do it, but then fuck him. It is what it is.
You ever try spotting girls when they're back squatting?
Fuck no. I don't want to get arrested.
I've one occasion I helped somebody, like this woman, on the hack squat machine.
Yeah.
I think she, like, it's heavy to begin with before you even had any plates on, but I think she wanted to go up a little way and kind of overestimated it. So she got to the bottom and then she just couldn't lift it.
Oh.
So she even pulled the plates off and then tried to squeeze herself back into it, but she couldn't start from the bottom of the rep. So I helped her that way. I think any other way, I'd just feel a bit uncomfortable. For any reason, it's just like Gondo. I like to keep to myself. I like to try and just stay away from other people as best I can in the gym. It's a me thing, but yeah, thankfully my kind of interactions like that have been quite minimal with other people. It's just been my PT here and there. The way I was trained was I'm comfortable failing on pretty much any lift, so I know how to, like, if I can't lift a bench, I know like I can roll it down to my lap, and I don't just like let it drop. I've still got the strength there to lower it if I can't push it up. And then the same with squatting and stuff. Like when my back went, I was still able to safely get out from under the bar. I wasn't folded up on the floor in a weird pretzel shape. So I don't really need spotters. I'm not lifting these astronomical weights where things can just suddenly catastrophically fail.
Yeah.
It's just if I can't lift it anymore and I've run out of juice, then I can lower it safely.
Before I get to my next question, I do want to say I love Olympic weightlifting for what it taught me in terms of squatting. This is not in every single gym. I want to be very clear about this, because if you do this in a gym and it's not allowed, you're gonna get kicked the fuck out. And maybe there's guide rails or whatever, safety bars, but in Olympic weightlifting, they use bumper plates, right? So when you squat and you fail, you just let it roll off your back and you hop forward. But in some places, they have these safety rack bars, like to catch the bar. You can squat and then it gets off. I love that. I love understanding the lift in order to know how you can safely bail if you have to bail. Because nothing is scarier than getting stuck and not knowing what the fuck to do. Being a pretzel on the floor, like you said. Deadlifting is kind of normal, right? Because deadlifting, you just drop it down. Basically,
Yeah, you just let it go.
Squatting, if you're using the bumper plates and your gym allows you to drop it, that's fine. There's the safety racks. I'm always scared with benching if it's like an open bench, because some benches have these. Let's talk about what lifts or exercises you guys like to do right now, or in the past or currently. What are your favorite lifts, both of you? And it can be machines too, or it can be dumbbells, whatever. What do you like doing?
I like leg days. even though there's a lot of stuff that I can't do on leg days now because of my back. I like trying to chase the feeling of quad DOMs.
Oh God.
That is my favorite feeling. Like if I have things like arm DOMs, chest, hamstrings, things like that, it's a good feeling knowing that you've reached that point. It's kind of tiring and stuff, but quad DOMs in particular, I just feel like I've really fucking smashed it. So like recently, my leg days have been kind of quad focused and carbs on the end, but I do like hack squat first with the belt, and then I'll go on leg press and keep my feet really close together and go high weight and high rep as I can, basically repping out on every set. Then I'll go on a leg extension. I'm stacking that machine, and then I can hardly walk downstairs to even exit the gym afterwards. It's like I fucking love that I got to this stage. But yeah, recently I've kind of got over a bit of a hump when it comes to arms as well. They're not really my favorite thing to do, but it's just a really kind of good feeling match. I'm no longer kind of plateauing on that. I haven't really changed things up either. I don't really what's really changed, but even like when things went, I wasn't too happy with the progress of it. I was still training to failure, no matter what the rep range, and it wasn't really a case of willpower or anything like that. It's something changed. I got over a hump, and things are getting a bit better now. So it's not really like the lifts themselves. It's more the results of the lifts that I'm kind of seeing. It's just making me feel really good. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Like I'm not really one to kind of like just stand there posing in front of the mirror or anything. But just like you could just see like it's like an additional like line on your triceps and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I didn't see that last week. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying kind of the effects of some progress of that. I think the cut is helping as well, shedding a little fat to make it all a little bit more visible too.
How do you use the toilet after like a hard leg day?
By sitting on it usually.
Don't you like?
Yeah, I usually do it on foot, I guess, standing up.
You don't plank? You don't plank on it, right?
No, not generally.
No. Tend to sit down, especially when shitting.
What if you shit standing up? Oh, man.
My aim's not as good when I do that.
No. Generally doesn't work that well, yeah.
A bit more admin involved.
Pretty much.
That's awesome, dude, because this is a common thing. Obviously, people like specific workouts or focusing legs, but a lot of people hate legs because they're scared of the feeling of the DOMs of how sore their legs get if you go really hard. That's amazing how you choose one of the hardest things to do as your favorite. Like
I think it's maybe leg days are particularly draining when you have like a good day because you come to like a compound lift on a leg day. That's basically your full body or near enough. So yeah, when I have especially before my back injury, if I had a really good leg day, I would be fighting sleep afterwards. It'd be late morning. I would have to be slamming some caffeine or something just to be able to make it through work through the afternoon. Yeah, it seems to be more just physically taxing overall. So I kind of understand why, but also, I don't want to be one of those guys shaped like Johnny Bravo. Like I'm all upper body and then my legs are like cocktail sticks. So I'm kind of the other way around. My legs are kind of a lot bigger than the rest of me. I do love a leg day though. So it's always been that way for some reason. I'm not too sure why.
But before I get to Gondo, what was your craziest leg day? Or if you remember, any specific exercise, or did you do 5 sets of 20 reps on the squat? Do you remember the most epic leg day that you've had?
Quite recently, actually. So I started off with an hour with my PT, then I decided to carry on myself afterwards. And we were doing kind of, medium rep sets on the hack squat. So previously my best was 6 reps of 147 kilos on that. Obviously having to use my belt because otherwise my back would just start tweaking and stuff. We were doing sets of 10 this time, and I managed to somehow squeeze out the last rep of 147, so I managed to hit 10, completely smashing my previous best. And then after that, went on to leg press, and I somehow got my on RM on that as well. Managed to do 412 kilos on that as well. And then after
412 kilos?
Yeah. I mean, leg press is a lot easier, so. But Yeah, that was mad because I don't do on RM stuff very often, but it's just to kind of, I guess, set a new benchmark and see where I am. And my back was feeling particularly good that day, so I thought, fuck it, we'll give it a go. And if I tweak my back, then I'm sitting down for 3 days, but who cares? We'll still see what's going on. So yeah, managed to get those, and then afterwards on my own, managed to get a new personal best again on the leg extension.
Oh my
So
god!
that maxes out 147.5. You got a little handle thing you can tweak to add up to 5 kilos extra. And I managed to do I started on the max. I thought, I'll do drop sets if I can't do a set of 6.
Yeah.
I managed to do 3 sets of 6 on that. And I got up afterwards and I went to get like this like anti-back wipe just to wipe it down because I was sweating fucking crazy that day just because it was a hard day, but I was just going hard. And I went to just walk over. It was only like 10 feet away. And my knees they weren't like sore or anything, but they're just giving way with almost every step. I was like trying to fold up like an accordion. And I imagine I was kind of like semi-embarrassed for like people that would be seeing that because it was quite a busy area of the gym. But at the same time, I was just really happy that I was in that spot. So just a really weird, conflicting feeling to have. It's like, I must look like a right twat right now, but it feels so good.
Oh, dude.
And then I have to walk down 2 flights of stairs to leave the gym afterwards. And that was very precarious, let's say. I could have ended up in a shit heap at the bottom of those if I wasn't careful. But
the leg day meme. For those of you that don't know, okay, I understand that not all leg machines are equal, and some may be easier than others. But 900 pounds? What the fuck, dude? Like, did you put on plates? Was that type of?
Yeah, you have to load. It's 47 kilos, I think, without any plates on.
Jesus Christ.
But then, I just keep adding on 25s until I run out of room on the bottom bit, and then you add in. I think it was like some 10s and maybe like a 2 and 2.5 or something on each side to get to like the final number. That's. I've always been pretty good with the leg press, but I kind of feel like it's not really like a real indicator of. I guess like when if you really want to kind of isolate your legs, then great. But I kind of use on my squat progress or currently hack squat progress is more of like a real benchmark of how I'm doing because there's a lot more involved. That's like it's genuinely like a kind of a full body lift, whereas like your leg press, my back is firmly pressed into a seat and I'm just pushing purely with my legs at that point. But I was really happy to get that though. I think it was like my first 1RM attempt in 6 bumps or something, and it was like 60-70 kilo jump. So it was best day I'd had in ages because I've not really been hitting a lot of PBs recently, PRs, new records recently, especially just during the cut. It's just fighting an uphill battle there. It was such a cool day though. I was falling asleep afterwards, but I was also riding high at the same time.
Oh, congrats, dude! Holy fuck, Gondo, you got I was excited to hear you, Gondo, when you were talking about deadlifting thousands of pounds. But holy fuck, James might have you got running for your money there. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't do much leg presses. The last time I did, it was 650 kilograms that I did or something like that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll get back in my height for sure.
No, I mean, it depends on the leg press. There are ones that I can't do 400 because they like change the angle because there's this leg press that's like full 45 degrees. So you just do 45 degrees. But there are ones that they have a lever and that lever makes the weight heavier because of the angles that it does and that kind of thing. So it really depends. But then again, I don't do leg press as much because it's a very busy machine at the gym. So it's difficult to get in them anyways. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna do back squats.
Fuck yeah. What do you like, Gondo? What are your favorite lifts or exercises? Deadlift, squat? I feel like you're a deadlift guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those are the 3 that I train for, right? So benches, deadlifts, squats. I will say that I don't particularly like the flat bench. I like more the inclined one. I don't feel much. I don't feel good at the flat bench. I feel weird. My elbows feel weird. I don't know. It is a weird exercise. It's the most injury prone one of the three. So yeah, but lately I've been doing a lot of squats and deadlifts because I need to get a little bit more of lower body strength. So I've been doing a lot of those. The craziest leg training. So my favorite day is also the leg day. The thing about the leg day is that what people don't understand is that because the legs are such huge muscles, you have to do load and reps. So that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And I've been doing that a lot. But when I do leg, I have two leg days basically, one for anterior, another for posterior, right? So the anterior one is basically just squats. So the last one that I've done is so after warming up, I did I think it was 4 sets of 6 rep on the 200 kilograms. And then I did 4 sets of the 140s for, then I can get to like 10 or 12 or something like that.
That's 440 pounds. That's 200 kilograms, 440 pounds for you Americans. That's fucking
I
crazy.
have no idea how much that is. Fuck that. Fuck the imperial system. No one even uses that. Not even fucking England.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you? Fuck that. And then after that, I've done 4 sets of 100s. Yeah, 4 sets of 100, and then some leg extensions. That's my anterior day. For the posterior day, I generally do stiff deadlifts, but I do the deficit ones. So I step up on the little. We call them steps, right? I'm not sure how you call those in the US. Then I do the deficit stiff leg deadlifts. Then I do the Bulgarian split squats.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I like those.
those are awesome. And then I do the cable. I don't know how you call them. It's those ones that you put the cable on your ankles, and then you like kick your legs.
Yeah.
Like a leg raise, I guess.
We call them
For your hamstrings. Yeah.
Yeah, we call them kicks. It's for the hamstrings and the glutes. I don't know how to call them in English, right? So I do those like for the glutes. So when you kick back and then like kicking to the side for the stabilizers on the leg, because if you want to squat 200 kilograms, you have to have good stabilizers. Otherwise, your knees go to fuck. So that's my posterior day, right? So on the stiff deadlifts, I'm gonna do like 180 kilograms, 140, depending on how much I want to do. And then on the Bulgarian split squats, I'm going to do 100 kilos or 80, depending on the day, something like that. So those are the leg days. For deadlift training, it's just deadlifts. Sometimes I get up to 260, which was today actually. I got up to 265. And then on the bench, I generally can get up to 160. But it's just simple training. On the bench, I generally start with the inclined bench. And then I go to the flat one. And then in the middle of those, I have I have other training. So I have back training too. I have arms training, that kind of thing. One of the things that I like about powerlifting is that it's simple training, man. You don't need much. You don't need much complexity. The complexity comes from doing the exercises right. One of the things that I profoundly dislike about bodybuilding is that bodybuilders will have such difficult and contrived exercises to polish or to do specific parts of muscles and the itty gritty things, and then just fucking no, not for me. No, it's just too complicated for me, man. I just like doing heavy exercises the right way. That's worked wonders for me.
Before I ask about what each of your guys's like weekly trainings look like, I want to say that I am a complete bitch when it comes to legs. Like I can cry after doing lunges or Bulgarian split squats because I get such a crazy quad pump because I'm quad dominant. My hamstrings are lacking. And it's so difficult, dude. But the fact that you both like the difficult things speaks a lot of you about both of you, just as people. Like that's fucking amazing. Oh, before I get into the weekly things, are there any exercises that you guys don't like to do? For me, it's arms as well. Just in general, like biceps. I don't like doing biceps, but I know you should do a little bit of it. I know you train them indirectly through other lifts, but I've never been a big biceps like curls guy. But what about you two? What do you guys not like to do?
Specific to my gym is the lying leg curl machine.
Wow.
So we used to have a seated one, and I loved using that. It felt comfortable because I could wedge my back into it, and I could go heavy, I could go high rep, whatever. But now on the lying one, it feels very contrived to kind of set it up for a start, get it in the right position for your feet and your leg length and stuff, and then laying down face down on it. And I got my face right into a pad that I don't care how many times it's been cleaned. There's been like 500 people's faces pressed into this thing. And then I'm curling away. And then if I want to go heavy, I can't not curl my back when I'm getting to that point of struggling or really trying to squeeze through a rep. I really like it when there's an exercise where I can just power through. Like, fine, going to get to that 9.5 out of 10 kind of level. And on the lying leg curl machine, I just can't, because I know that I'm just going to be folding myself in half backwards. And I'm just going to do myself an injury. But it's the only option I've got for that kind of thing. And like, I do passively train like hamstrings in other ways. And it helps like doing things like single leg press as well. I hit them pretty hard on that sometimes, but yeah, I'd like to have other options, because things like deadlifts, RDLs, and stuff like that, I can't go very far in that without hurting myself again.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the fact that they replaced the old seated one for this lying one, I fucking hate it. It's really annoying.
There's not a particular training that I don't like to do, like a specific group that I don't like to do. There are some specific exercises that they feel weird. One of them that I like profoundly dislike, but people generally love, that is the standing bicep curls. I fucking hate those because I train everything but my biceps.
Yeah.
I have to get like 50, 60 kilograms onto a bar, and they do it, but I much prefer do the, I think it's called the preacher curl, where you have the chair that you have like to extend. I
like
can
that.
use much less weight, and it's just a much better exercise.
You get a good stretch out of it at the bottom. They just go all the way down to the bottom of the rep, and I much prefer it to standing.
Pretty much. And if I want to do like heavy curls and really load the biceps, I just do the dumbbell ones. So I sit down on the chair and I do the dumbbell curls. They're insanely better than the bar curl. Not only that, because I have such broad shoulders, most easy bars, they're not good for me. Either they are too short, like I have to do this, or they're too, so there's never one that has like the right like length of the W shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really dislike that. I much rather do the preachers. The one that I dislike, that like leg that I dislike, is the seated hamstrings. I don't feel good doing that. Honestly, I don't know. I just don't feel good doing that. I much prefer the lying one. Yeah, I don't know why. The lying one is insane. It's much better for me. I can really grind it up. But then again, even then, I don't like them. My go-to exercise for hamstrings are the Bulgarians or the lunges. That's it. They're the best ones, especially if you can like go really, really, really bottom, really down on them. Those are insanely good. And when I have to, so leg day for me, it's almost like I'm like when I want to do a good leg day, then I prepare my day to do that.
Yeah.
Then yesterday was leg day because today is Saturday, so I can stay home, do shit, because if I have to go to the market now, get groceries, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm just fucked up.
It's so difficult, but it's so good for you, right? The lunges and the Bulgarian split squats. Oh,
The thing about the lunges and the split squats that people understand is about the knees, because at the end of the day, the back squats or the mid squats then again, the leg presses, you're going to get a lot of weight onto those ones. Those are generally going to be your biggest lifts, of course, because generally they get your full body to work. The legs are huge muscle groups, but they don't get you, okay, you train your legs, but it's a much better, richer exercise to do the Bulgarians or the lunges, because you train your back, you train your knees, Yeah, yeah. So if you go to physio for the knee, so if you have knee pain and you go to physio, they're gonna make you do Bulgarians and lunges, because doing those you learn how to keep your knees straight and you train your abductors and your adductors. So I much rather prefer do those. And also, there's one thing that I really hate about these much more controlled exercises is the fact that you need machines to do them. It's not that I hate on machines; it's that every single gym, every different gym that you go, they have different machines that feel different. Sometimes you get a huge, nice exercise on a specific machine, and then on the other gym, the same exercise, it feels like shit for you because simply the machine doesn't fit your biomechanics,
Yeah.
right? Whereas free weights, they're free weights. Every freaking gym has a bar. It has weights that you can dump weights on and do lunges. So it's going to be the same exercise all over. So it's much more repeatable in that sense. So I much more prefer to do those because of that. Also because of that, they're much more convenient in that sense. When I'm like traveling, when I'm going to my parents, I have to use the gyms there. I just can do the same exercises and fuck that.
Well, my last exercise question before we touch on nutrition and then we wrap it up. I want to know each of your schedules, because something that I found, something that I did not find out until super late, was for me uh, the frequency and the intensity, like the correlation between both. This may sound super fucking simple, but for me, when I was doing powerlifting, I had to rest like a week and a half between deadlift sessions, or I had to do what Gondo did, and I would have to alternate between like a super low rep, high intensity day with heavy weights, and then more of like a more rep, lighter deadlift day, because deadlifts take so much out of you, your nervous system, not only the muscles that you use. So I didn't find out, and again, this is just me personally. If there's anything that we three have learned from exercising, if it works for you, that's fucking awesome. Not everything that I say is going to work for someone else or for Gondo or for James. But for me, I found out that the less intense I went, the higher my meet numbers or my powerlifting numbers went up. Like when we were growing up, when I was young, in football or after whatever sport we went to lift, we always did high intensity and a lot of reps, and we always felt fucking destroyed. But and so I always thought, I have to go heavy, I have to go heavy, I have to do it all the time. I have to have so much frequency. But when I started to you know do less intensity and I focus more on recovery and not going super heavy, that's when my numbers shot up. It was so counterintuitive to what I had been taught when I was a young boy. It was crazy. Like when I was plateauing with bench, I actually added another bench day, but then I decreased the intensity for both bench days, and decreasing the intensity, maybe I was going like 70% of my 1 rep max instead of like 80%. It helped me so much. It helped me tremendously. So I'm curious what your guys's schedules are like. Gondo specifically for powerlifting because he's a powerlifter, and James just all around. Like, what do you guys do? Monday this, Tuesday this, and how are your rest days and things like that?
For me right now, it's I'm trying to kind of improve across the board still, but my primary goal right now is to just retain as much muscle as I can that I've gained so far during this cut. Because I guess for more context, my one thing that I've kind of suffered with is sticking to a specific plan in terms of a routine or diet or something. But the majority of the time that I've been going to the gym, I've essentially been on quite a low calorie diet, quite a low carb, low calorie diet, on like a body recomp kind of plan. And I only said that for myself because I didn't want to do all the cuts and bulks so early on, because I know they might affect my health in other ways. But now, for the first time, like I kind of realized, okay, this recomp thing's not really doing much anymore. Go on a refeed and then go on a cut. So I've had to adjust my routine a little bit for that. I'm doing a bit more cardio than I used to. It's all low intensity stuff. It's just walking on a treadmill, max incline, I could probably try running and stuff, but I don't want to because your joints and stuff. But also, I've got asthma, so I don't want to strain myself that way.
Yeah.
But my week currently is Monday is upper body, Tuesday lower body, Wednesday treadmill, and then repeat that again. But Saturday and Sunday are both treadmill days. So kind of log it, they kind of algorithmically kind of estimates the amount of calories you burned on the treadmill. I aim for like 750 or so each session I do.
Wow.
And then pair it with something else I enjoy doing, like I like true crime documentaries, so I just put it on Netflix on my phone, just watch it.
Yeah.
I don't really like doing the walking, but it helps digest it easier. But yeah, I'm just doing my best to just, as I cut down, I don't want to lose a bunch of muscle with it and undo my work. So keeping the protein high, lifting as hard as I can each day I go in. Kind of a passive thing that I've learned from this, and it's a thing that gets parroted around a lot online anyway, is that, so I should have noticed it sooner, but didn't because I was stubborn or ignorant or something, is that the recovery time is so crucial. I know you touched on it, like you needing to recover after doing deadlifts, but I found that now I've got 3 days on average between, like, kind of repeating the same session again. So going upper body to upper body, I've got 3 days between. It gives me plenty of time now to recover, and the next time I go in, I'm feeling good. Whereas prior to that, or maybe the first year or so, I was probably I'd lift in 6 days a week. And I was doing fine. And maybe, you got that kind of beginner aspect of it where you can just hit the ground running to some degree. But you're going to plateau at some point. You're going to hit a wall energy wise. And that might be the point where a lot of people quit. They can't hack it anymore. Yeah, I kind of learned through this extra time to recover that I'm giving like my tendons a chance to catch up with my muscles, things like that. I don't have so much discomfort and pain day to day anymore. So I think even after I finish this cut, I might just hold on to a similar kind of routine. Allows me to have like my weekends to myself because walking doesn't take as long as a gym session anyway. But just give myself that kind of crucial recovery time. I think like the 3 days is kind of like a happy medium, I think, where I'm not waiting too long. It still allows me to train each muscle group twice a week. That's the current routine, but I think it's also the best one I've landed on so far. So I think it's probably going to remain something similar to this moving forward, regardless of how the nutrition things go.
Before I get to Gondo, I love what you said about the tendons and what Gondo said about the stabilizing muscles and the abductors and things like that. What we see a lot when people get on gear, or when people start, when people start and then they see the numbers progressing and they want to continue to do more and more, you might be able to do it, but your tendons are still trying to grow and get stronger. Like, we see a lot of injuries when we lift and we just keep lifting and lifting, and the numbers are going up, and it just keeps going up, and you're not recovering in time, and then all of a sudden an injury because of the tendons or your stabilizing muscles not catching up, or like James, like you said, your spinal erectors, like they're trying to compensate for something, and then everything gets fucked up. So recovery is so crucial. I like how you both are talking about that. But Gondo, I want to hear about your schedule, your current program and things like that. Yeah.
My schedule is, so I have a 8-day split. So I do 3 days of training, 1 or 2 days of rest, depends on how I feel. 3 days of training, 1 or 2 days of rest. That's it. So the training split, depending on how I feel, is 8 to 10 days. So for instance, I am arriving at the end of one of the cycles now. So I'm at the 3rd month, and I've set myself to squat 220, to deadlift 260, and to bench 160. So you start by doing 70% of that, and then you progress to the weight that you want, right? That's how you do it. So when I'm at the start, that I'm still getting accustomed to the weights and that kind of thing, then you don't get as much sore, right? Whereas at the end, when you're like blasting through weights, then yeah, you need larger recovery time. was it? I think it was Eddie Hall. So for the guys that don't know, Eddie Hall he won World's Strongest Man, but he's more known for being the first guy to deadlift 500 kilograms, right? He's the one that you've seen those videos that like he was deadlifting 500 and then his nose started to bleed, which is a quite impressive sight, right? So Eddie Hall said that when he was training for that, he noticed that he took between 7 to 10 days to recover from a deadlift session. And that's like a professional, like state of the art power lifter. That's a guy that takes like insane amounts of gear that eats 12,000 calories a day. So a normal person probably takes. Of course, he has awesome genetics too, right? So a normal person will take lots more than that. So, for instance, deadlifts, they fuck me up so bad. So one of the things that I very seldomly do is 1RM or deadlifts, right? So my 260, I do 3 to 4 reps on that. Why? Because if I do 1RMs on that, then I can't walk for 2 or 3 days. And the problem with that is then I have to train on the next 2 to 3 days. So if you train too hard, that can take from your training. There's this scientist called Matt Schoenfeld, and he has this awesome book. I recommend that to everyone. It's a book on hypertrophy, and he shows some science behind it. And we know that you don't need to train like all out. You don't need to fuck yourself up every day to get results. As a matter of fact, on the other hand, you need to train hard enough, but it's more on stimulating growth on a per week basis. Right. In that book, he said, then again, this is all samples, lots of people, papers, metadata, and that kind of thing. The sweet spot seems to be between 70 and 90% of your 1RM for between 4 to 8 repetitions. That seems to be the best one for longevity and performance for most people, right? So that's what I generally stick to in general. If I want to do like really, really, really strength training, then I keep to 3 or 4 reps. Yeah. And sometimes every 3 or 4 months, I do 1RMs to test if I got to the weight that I wanted to begin, right? So the first day of training is leg day. It's the squat day. Then I do bench. Then I do back. Then I rest. Then I do the posterior. So leg day, but posterior. Yeah. Then I do shoulders. And then in the final day, I tend to change a little bit. Or I'm either going to do arms, and I generally mix that with like a little bit of back. Or in that day, I'm going to do deadlifts. But it depends on how I did on the other day. Because if I do posterior chain and then 2 days later I do deadlifts, I'm not going to do a good deadlift day. So there's also that. Sometimes I'll do a cycle that I take a little bit lighter on the legs, so that at the end of the cycle I can do heavy deadlifts, right? But that's generally how it goes. I've been doing that for 2.5, 3 years now. A little bit more than 2.5 years. 2 years, yeah, a little bit more than that. It's been working perfectly. It's been working very fine, to be honest. And I don't change much. Actually, I haven't changed my training schedule in a good part of 2 years now. Wow. It's the same exercises, ones that I feel good doing, ones that I feel that connect well with me. And the routine is pretty good. I generally spend 1 hour, 1 hour 10 in the gym a day. And that's pretty much it, to be honest. But when I'm at the gym, it's full-blown gym. So I just leave sweating, panting. It's really ugly to see, to be honest. Yeah.
If you said this, I apologize. But when are your deloads? Are they like every 8 weeks? Every 3 months?
So, for instance, what I do is I do in a cycle. So I'm gonna start a cycle in like next month. So now I want to squat 230 kilograms. And then I have a number for deadlift and a number for bench, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 70% of that. So I do 70 to 80% of that. And then I do as many repetitions as I can, right? And then I'll progressively get on to doing 2 reps for 90% and one rep for 100% of that. That's it. That generally takes like 3 to 4 months. When I finish, I do 1 or 2 weeks of deload. Now, deload depends on how you feel. If you feel really fucked up, then I'll just take 3 or 4 days of resting. It depends on also my joints. So at the end of that period, your joints, then again, they don't hurt, but you feel they're there. So I'll do 50%. My deload is the same training, 50% for like 15 reps, 20 reps, something like that, right? There's also the mental part of it. So one of the things that people don't understand about powerlifting and lifting weights in general is that it's not just lifting weights, but there's a huge part of the mental thing that goes on. For instance, as you progress onto doing weights, and if you keep lifting your maxes consistently, you're gonna get a concentration of certain neurotransmitters in your brain. One of them being cortisol. So when I'm training for strength and I'm at the end of that period, I am a little bit more irritable. I am a little bit more sensible about some things because you're tired. I sleep 10 hours a day sometimes. You know, was it? Yeah, it was the day before yesterday. My dad called me 9 p.m. and I was sleeping, and he was like, "Okay." And then he called me 10 a.m. the other day, and I was still sleeping. And he was like, "What's happening? Are you okay? Is everything okay?" I'm like, "No, it's just it's part of the training." And of course, those cycles, I tend to adjust them to my life. So, for instance, I couldn't do a full blown strength cycle when I'm preparing for something, So, for instance, when I went to Italy, so I spent 6 months in Italy. I wasn't in peak strength period at that time. I was actually starting it, so I could get accustomed to the place, accustomed to the gym, accustomed to the people. That's going to take a little bit of their training, get used to how the food works there, because some particular types of food might be more expensive than others, so you have to just diet a little bit. But defending my PhD and all of the stress that goes down with that, then I'm at full blown strength training. Right. So you're anxious about everything. So you're like, might as well just fuck it up all the way. And that, for me, it helps with the anxiety of defending the defense and the process and that kind of thing. So there's a lot that go into that.
I love listening to other people explaining what works for them because, like I said before, depending on your goals, depending on what you're trying to achieve, one program or one way of training may work a lot better than another program or way of training. Just depends on your lifestyle, just depends on you as a person as well. If there's anything that you, the listeners, the watchers, take out of this episode, is that if it works for you, that's fucking awesome. If you're not hurting yourself and it works for you, you're not putting yourself in a bad situation health wise or anything. That's fucking awesome. Something very important that Gondo said that I want to touch on is when I was a personal trainer and I was training all these types of people, the number one thing that I realized was it was not just the time I had them in the gym. It was how did they sleep? What was their work day like? Were they irritable? What was their diet like? There's so many factors that affect your training. Some days you may only be able to do, I like to do percentage based. I like to do progressive overload, but there's some days where I switch to an RPE system. Basically, RPE 10 is your max, and RPE 7 is less than that. I can't do. Say I'm supposed to bench 150 kilos for 3 or 4 reps. I know that I can't do that because of maybe stress at my work or I didn't sleep well. So I will switch to an RPE style. It will exert me physically, but it won't be, necessarily the percentage that I put out for that day. There's so many factors that go into exercise that it's so fascinating to me because in a perfect world, maybe if we lived in Russia or something, and there's like government sponsored a gym, all you had to do was eat, sleep, exercise, eat, sleep, exercise. Things can be perfect, but life is obviously not fucking perfect, and it throws curveballs. So as long as you go out there and you have a goal and you do it to the best of your ability, maybe you might not hit this number, or maybe, things may not go your way and you have to go a little lighter in the gym. It's totally fucking fine. Like the way that you going to the gym or whatever exercise that you're doing or activity, the fact that you're doing it or that you set your foot, you place your foot inside the gym, the fact that you're actually doing it, that's the hardest step. Doing it. but you're there, and you should, you should do that activity. Well, what I'm trying to say is, when I don't feel like going to the gym, I still go, because when I'm there, I'm like, I don't want to fucking drive back, or like, I'm already down in the basement. I have my gear on, and I'm not gonna like go back up and take all my clothes off. Um, Being there in the gym, going to the soccer field, or football field, or basketball court, the fact that you're actually there, that's the hardest part, and for a lot of people, especially for me, that first step. So, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't put things out, to the side because you don't feel like it. Because there's gonna be days where you don't feel like exercising, and unless you're injured or something, you should try and go and exercise. You never know what's gonna fucking happen in life, and I don't want to end this off in a bad, like a down note. So I'll just talk about this super briefly. But the reason why I asked these two guys, James and Gondo, to postpone this episode 1 hour later was because I recently found out that an old childhood friend of mine was diagnosed with leukemia. And the only reason that I found out of that was last weekend when I came back from the Minnesota meetup. My mom and I went to get fried chicken at this local place, Korean fried chicken. And I bumped into another old friend, someone that I had no idea was still in the city, someone that I've known for many years from school and so on. It's crazy, right? Like the fact that I met that person, that specific time, that specific place, it was incredible. And then he told me about the mutual friend that had leukemia. So I had a phone call with him this morning, and I don't know fuck all about cancer and shit like that. Um, I know it's like a rare form of leukemia, or something with the blood cells, red blood cells. But it's crazy to think that I lost contact with him and I hadn't talked to him for so long. Um, I I talked about in the very beginning of this whole podcast series, when we talked with Jack, aka Piketty. My good keyboard friend of the week was my friend Matt, who passed away because he had stomach cancer. And I never took the opportunity to hang out with him when he was in hospice before he passed away. Like that's fucking gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. And I'm not saying this to have a pity party or anything, but reach out to those friends. Reach out, take those opportunities to exercise, to be active, to reach out to friends. We've only got a super short time on this earth, and life is so fucking valuable. If you don't feel like exercising that day, if you don't have any injuries, just try. Try walking around. Try moving around. A lot of times we get put off by the fear of failure, or like, oh, I'll just save it for another day. There might not be another fucking other day to do what you want to do. If I hadn't met my friend at the chicken place, I would never have known about my other friend. Um, if I hadn't had that experience with Matt, not being able to hang out with him or spend time with him, and before he passed away, I don't think I would be as well equipped to handle, my good friend now who has leukemia. Like, I'm gonna take every opportunity I can to hang out with him, or to talk to him on the phone and things like that. But all this to say, exercise is just fucking awesome. And whatever it is, whether it's to the gym, whether it's, to the soccer field, anything that gets you fit, anything that gets you active, go for it. Don't be afraid of failure, or like looking silly in the gym or shit like that. It's such a welcoming place. 99% of people are not dickheads. Go out, seek a personal trainer like James did. Go out to see a physio if you've been dealing with issues. Maybe you'll meet a powerlifting coach who is your physio, like Gondo did.
Maybe.
We don't fucking know, man. Like, go out, take the opportunities as they come. Don't ever wait to do something. I don't know. I don't want to get too super like philosophical or shit like that, but it really changed my perspective when I learned about my friend having leukemia. Like, life is so fucking short, guys. You gotta take advantage of it. If not for your own health, maybe you have kids or a spouse. You want to be there for them, right? You don't want to die or pass away before you see them grow up, or things like that. Health, man. Health is important. Exercise is important. If you guys want to say anything, I feel like I rambled on for too long, but I just, it's so fucking amazing, guys. Like, I really appreciate you both just taking the time out and hanging out with me today. I want to keep
Sweet.
doing this. I don't know about you guys, but
Maybe we can cover nutrition next time. More
yeah.
detail. I think just to add on your point, exercise is quite a daunting word for a lot of people. It used to be for me. It's just a byword for things that aren't fun or not pleasant to do. But I think what it takes is just moving more. Everyone can stand to move a little more. And the more you do it, the easier it gets as well. And hopefully, like Gondo said earlier, you'll find something in the broad spectrum of exercise or physical activity in any form. You'll find something that you enjoy. Even just walk. You could drive to the store, but if it's in walking distance, maybe just walk it. Walk around the block, walk the dog one more time a day or something, or even just walk the dog. You just start with small steps if it seems so daunting, and it can just get a little easier every time you do it. And you won't even notice the effort that you need to put in, even if it means walking for 5 minutes more than you did the last time. These things all add up, and then just like for me, when I was overweight before, I wasn't walking 3 miles a day from day one. I would just start by walking around the block. I'd be completely pooped, and the next day I would make a point of, rather than having my groceries delivered, I would walk to the store to buy them myself. And these things, they all add up, and like coming from somebody who is probably going to have lifelong issues now with like cardiovascular stuff, makes a huge difference. Like my blood pressure might improve with time. Well, it already has improved to some degree. But like just my quality of life, standard of living, my future prospects and stuff, they're all brighten up just simply by moving a little more. Me lifting in the gym isn't going to help my heart health at all. That's completely separate. Just the fact that I walk. Never done any running. I haven't done any like spin classes or anything too intense or too scary. I've just walked. And it's a basic thing that pretty much, or most people can do just naturally. So, it doesn't even have to be this huge mountain to climb. Just be a little hill that you walk over, and then you're on the right track. I mean, we can all do that a little more. Yeah, that's my little rant on the end of yours.
That's awesome. I agree. Gondo, you have anything to say before we end it with Good Keyboard Friend?
Whenever people talk about exercise and that kind of thing, they generally think about two things. The first thing is looking good or looking better. And the other one is sacrifice. Is the discipline that you have to go to the gym and eat right and sleep right and that kind of thing. So it's immediate that people will correlate the fact that, hey, you're sacrificing yourself to look good. That's the general correlation that happens when people ask me about the gym. But generally, when I tell people about exercise, I tell people that, hey, listen, you're just gonna live better. You're gonna have better quality of life, like James said. James said, hey, listen, maybe I have my issues, but because of exercise, I can live better. I have better quality of life. I can deal with them better. It meant the world for me, at least because I genuinely feel better. I live my life better. I don't have as many issues as I have. I have better mental tools to deal with the frustrations of life, which are inherent to certain things. You were speaking of friends. I had two big friends of mine, Casaduri and Menorin, who went, who left us in tragic ways. And it was because of gym that I was able to deal with that, with those, to be honest, because those were quite shocking for me. That's not a matter of looking a certain way or sacrificing. It's just a matter of living better, having better quality of life, And then again, to that sense, there's something for everyone. You're gonna find some sport. You're gonna find something that fits you, that you like doing. Even Either because you have the friends, because it's something a little bit more social, or because you genuinely like doing it. So I always encourage people to think about that. Say, hey, you're just gonna live better. You're just gonna not have more issues. Like, wouldn't it be good not to pant while you're carrying groceries around? Wouldn't it be good to be able to walk around? So people like to travel. Most people that I know, they can't travel a lot. They just go places. They walk for a couple hours. They walk for 1 or 2 hours, and they just can't deal with that anymore. Wouldn't it be good if you could, walk all day long and feel good about that, and generally um, 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 and see places where you are, and make the best out of the trip that you're doing, and that kind of thing. And uh, ultimately just being happier, or not happier but less stressed. That should be an end in and of itself. Feeling better, or not as much worse.
Yeah.
So I think that everyone should try that. Everyone should try something. And um on the topic of like friends, it happens, man. The brevity of life, the things that happen. I have just learned to deal with the fact that life is beautiful because it ends at some point. You know, it is rather. It is, for me at least, it is a jarring thought of being able to live forever. That's I don't feel good about that, to be honest. That would suck balls, you know? Yeah, because what's the point then? What would be the point of anything if you're just gonna live forever? Nothing's gonna happen to you anyway. So it's those kinds of things really give perspective as to how you deal with those very, very, very bad issues. So so yeah, I think that I'm sorry for you, man. The thing about your friends, that fucking sucks. But at the end of the day, then again, it's beautiful because it ends. They were here, you were there. That's what it's about at the end of the day.
It's partially why we like this last segment before we end it, the good keyboard friend of the week. So we like to shout out people that have done positive things for ourselves or for the community. Uh, it can be about keyboards. Most of them are keyboard related because it's a keyboard related podcast, and it's called the Good Keyboard Friend of the Week. But there's other times where they're not keyboard related, like with my nomination today. We would love to hear all of your nominations. If you send us the nominations, we will shout them out at the end of every episode. Thank you to those that have sent nominations out and continue to. Just because you send one doesn't mean that you can't send more in the future. Go to hugemeatbox.com for our link tree, and on the very top of that link tree, there's a Google form to submit your Good Keyboard Friend of the Week nomination. Or DM us, or comment on the YouTube video, or on the Instagram posts, or on the Spotify episodes. Just write out who you're nominating, why you're nominating them, and if you want to include your name or keep it anonymous, that's totally fine, but we appreciate it. So my nominations are my workout buddies. I met my friend Luke and my friend Gage in middle school. Every single day after middle school, I used to work out with Luke, uh, whether it be football, whether it be some other sport, or whether it just be to hang out and lift. Like Gondo said, it eventually turned into a way to cope. Um, when Luke got super fucking pissed at something, or when I broke up with a girlfriend, we'd meet each other at the gym and we just lift, angrily, but a way to vent our frustrations. And it just became a social thing, and it became a great thing for our health. So thank you, Luke. He's a doctor now, an actual MD. but doctors are doctors. Like I was joking about Gondo being an MD, but a doctor is no fucking joke. Like, doesn't matter what kind of doctor. Yeah, he's a doctor now. And my friend Gage, he runs a podcast as well, an
Nice.
NBA podcast, a basketball podcast with his friend. But thank you
Nice.
to those two, my very good friends in real life, my workout partners, for always being there, and for putting up with me, and just having fun lifting and handling life through lifting. So I'll pass it on to Gondo and James for their nominations, and then we'll end it. But Whoever wants to go first.
Mine is kind of tangentially related to fitness in a way. I've got 3 people. The first is Pyro. So he's a friend of mine I know through keyboards, and a group of us were all going to meet up down in London a few weeks ago. And because of me suddenly realised, oh shit, I'm buying a house. I probably can't afford to go down to London. I know it's probably not the best idea. So I pulled out quite late on, just a few days, maybe a week or 2 beforehand. And he reached out to me and said, and I know that you said that you can't really afford to come down, but I would really like you to be there. So you can crash your mine if you want. Help however I can. Just really want you to be there, man. It'd mean a lot. And I was like, oh man, I have to go down now. And went down, crashed, and a great old time and stuff. That allowed me to, I guess, for the first time, work out with a couple of friends the following morning. So that they're the following 2 are just those 2 guys, because I again know them through keyboards, but I guess the primary way that I stay in touch with them now is on this particular Discord server. We all keep each other accountable with how things are going. So it was really cool working out with them. Typically I like to work out on my own more, but just as a novelty, it was really cool to just different setting for a start. We're in like the old Muscle Works gym down in London. So going there and immediately I'm the smallest dude in the room. But it was it was just a really cool working out with those 2 guys. So Nate and Andy, I don't know if I said their names or not. It was just nice to be able to go down to London thanks to Pyro really kind of lassoing me into it. And then that enabled me to just have that cool experience with the other 2 guys.
For me, man, so I've talked a little bit about the fact that my career choice is very cruel when it comes to money, right? It's shittily underpaid and shittily overworked for what it is. And if it wasn't for the keyboard community and specifically the vendors, I wouldn't be able to have done it. So there's no really one person that in this regard that I can name. I was helped by a lot of people in this community in general. It's still mind-boggling to me that I'm a complete asshole, but people still like to hear what I have to say. And think that the stuff that I make is cool and worthy of their money. That's magical to me, to be honest. So yeah, if you are here and if you're into keyboards, thank you very much. This community has helped me go through the worst part of it, which is the financial one, which is by far the worst one, and the one that makes people the number one reason why people don't get into this is the money. Honestly, if you really talk with people about that, is that they wanted to do a master's or a PhD or whatever, but they can't because they have to sustain themselves, and the money that's paid fucking sucks or something like that. So yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you. I'm so thankful for both of you, for the keyboard community, for introducing the both of you to me in my life. And yeah, the watchers and the viewers out there, please comment. Let us know if you want us to continue this little exercise series, the Good Exercise Friends podcast. I'm interested in it, and I think as long as I don't take too much of these guys' time, maybe once a month or once every other month, we'll get together, we'll talk. I know we have to talk about nutrition one of these days, but yeah, really appreciate you, the watchers, the listeners. I appreciate Gondo and James. You guys are fucking awesome. 2 hours out of your Saturday to hang out with me, but besides that, I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll talk to you later. So goodbye.
Ciao.